guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria. If you watch this video and you enjoy it, don't be shy, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's start talking about how to get from point A to point B, how to get healthy after long-term emotional abuse. So when we go through this long-term emotional abuse, whether it be narcissistic abuse, whether it be bullying or whatnot, when we go through this abuse, a lot of times we are stripped of our identity. We don't know who we are. That, and we tend to see the world and the people in the world as unsafe. We no longer know how and who to trust. Healing from narcissistic abuse and long-term emotional abuse in general is going to look a lot like having a strong sense of self. And from that sense of self, being able to create boundaries so that we know who is safe and who isn't safe, who can we and who shouldn't we allow in our lives. So let's talk about getting from that place of losing our identity, being stripped of who we are, to that secure, strong sense of self and being able to create boundaries. How do we get from point A to point B? So there's 7 different points I'm going to touch on in this video. Point number 1, throw a timeline out the window. The first thing we want to do is ask, how long does it take to heal? Am I going to be able to give myself 6 months to heal? Am I going to set aside 3 months and be able to walk away from this strong and knowing who I am? A really important part of this healing journey is not having a timeline on your healing journey. Know that you are going to continue this process of unveiling what has happened to you in your past and attaching different stories to the things that you have been believing about yourself that have caused you to get into these relationships in the first place. I don't know how long this healing journey is going to take, but I do know that when we eliminate having a timeline, it becomes more of a fluid journey in that we don't have to know when this is going to end, and we will never know, right? We just need to keep going until we find these pockets of peace along the way. We find tools, and we have these tools so that we can incorporate them into our lives as we get triggered throughout the rest of our lives. Point number 2 is get serious about learning what self-compassion is and make that a practice. This isn't something that is just, we're going to talk about, let's have self-compassion. I should have self-compassion with myself. There are people that come out of emotionally abusive relationships and this long-term trauma that really truly believe there is something internally wrong with them. And that is the core of the issues that they have in life. This belief of there's something wrong with me has probably stemmed from childhood. When we talk about having self-compassion during this healing journey and for ourselves for the rest of our lives, we have to remember that we are probably people that are extremely hard on ourselves, and we have been searching for what is wrong with ourselves our entire life. We may even have that negative inner critic that tells us things like we are not worthy, we are not good enough, and things are our fault. To go from that to having self-compassion is an active practice. It's something that we need to daily work on. We need to tell ourselves things that are better than how we feel. If we are telling ourselves these negative things all the time, then the pathways in our brain are sealed with these negative inner critic thoughts. Even though that's how we feel, because that's just what our subconscious mind is telling us, we need to tell ourselves things that are better than how we feel so that we pave new pathways in our mind. This is the practice of self-compassion. It is the most important thing you can do for yourself starting now and throughout this entire journey. be self-compassionate. Because self-compassion is so important, I'm going to make this be number 3. How can we learn how to be more self-compassionate? I'll give you 2 tools. These are the tools that we keep in our back pocket for the rest of our lives. One of these tools is what we call an accomplishment journal. An accomplishment journal is not just something that we're writing down big accomplishments that we have, but that we are actually writing down everything that we accomplish. From the moment we wake up in the morning, we are accomplishing things. We are cooking food for ourselves. We are grocery shopping. We are paying bills. We are making our bed. We are showering. We are doing things for ourselves that are self-care that we skip over, and we just act as if we should just be doing them. These are called accomplishments. It's going to be very important at the end of each day for you to have your accomplishment journal out and for you to list the things, the small successes, the small accomplishments that you have done throughout the day. There are so many of us that have this negative inner critic that thinks that we are not accomplishing things in life because we're looking at things like social media or people in the limelight that we're only seeing the highlight reels of their life and they're doing these amazing things. It's very important to understand that every accomplishment is the same. It is an accomplishment and it is something to be proud of you for. So writing out this accomplishment journal every day may look like I made my bed. I juiced, I had my vitamins, I got to work on time, I paid my electric bill, I washed my car today, I said hello to 5 strangers, I smiled at someone. All of these things are accomplishments. Don't skip over them. Another tool that you can always use and keep in your back pocket when we're working on having self-compassion is to have a dialogue with yourself out loud about these things that you are accomplishing. For example, when you make your bed, stand over your bed, look at your bed and say, I am so proud of you for doing this today. Not everybody gets up and makes their bed today, but you did because you care about yourself. When you cook a meal, look at the colors of the vegetables. Look at the different ingredients, the different spices that you're putting in. Smell the spices. Say thank you so much to yourself and be so grateful to yourself for making and choosing to make this meal for yourself with these beautiful colors, these flavors, these smells. Thank yourself and congratulate yourself for doing these things. These 2 ways, having the accomplishment journal for any accomplishment you may have throughout the day and having this dialogue with yourself, these 2 things alone will help you so much in your healing journey to be able to have compassion for yourself and for the things that you're doing for yourself. Number 4 we're going to talk about is getting outside and spending time in nature. I started on my healing journey going on walks every day. I did this because it was quarantine, and what else were we going to do, right? But what it did was it allowed me to practice being in the present. I was able to use all of my senses. I would feel the bark on the trees. I would feel the leaves on the trees. I would smell the flowers. I would smell the fresh cut grass in the air. I would feel that accomplishment of putting one foot in front of the other, even though the ruminating thoughts were still going on in my mind, even though I could literally feel the anxiety running through my nervous system. As I was walking, I knew that I was taking a positive step by learning how to be in the present and by using nature and all of my senses to incorporate that feeling of learning how to be safe somewhere. Because of this practice of learning how to be in the present and using nature to do this, I fell madly in love with nature. I never knew I would be hiking almost 30 miles a weekend because it's just something that feels so good in my physical body and in my nervous system to be able to escape the things that are going on in the world and to really give myself a chance to breathe, use all my senses, and come back into the present. And that's something that nature teaches us. No matter where we live, there's some sort of nature. There's some trees, there's maybe a stream, the ocean, the mountains, the desert, whatever it may be. Pull from from the nature in your local area and use that to regulate your nervous system by teaching yourself how to be in the present. This too is not going to work unless you actually use this as an action. You do it. You spend time in nature. Start by going on walks. Download a pedometer on your phone and get proud of yourself for achieving your step goal every day. Number 5. Stop watching videos about narcissists, about the narcissists, about narcissistic personality disorder, about them. This healing journey of getting from point A to losing your identity and not knowing who you are to having a strong sense of self is going to be an inside job. The focus needs to be on you. The focus needs to be on your healing journey. Instead of constantly watching videos about them, the narcissist, how about you start researching things like attachment styles or complex post-traumatic stress disorder, inner critics, learning to beat the inner critic, some things that you're able to go internally and be validated because you're not the only one that's feeling this way. Learn something about yourself. Learn that these things that are going on inside of you are just a way in which your brain is protecting you by thinking the same types of thoughts all the time. These ruminating thoughts or the thoughts of the trauma, your limbic system may be on a trauma loop. So instead of blaming yourself for this, just know that this is something that the brain is doing to protect yourself because it feels like this is what's safe. This is what it's been doing for a long time now. There's a lot of healing found in videos that validate you and your experience. So this is where the focus needs to be. Number 6, to get from point A to point B, learn to trust your gut. And that's tough. That's something that I still work on a daily basis. Am I saying this out of the lens of trauma I've been through, or am I seeing it for what it is? Is this my gut warning me against something, against trouble, or, someone that could possibly hurt me? So it's really important to learn what is your gut and what is your gut telling you. Your gut is going to be like your spiritual guide. It's God inside of you that's leading you through life. It's like the lighthouse and trying to show you where to go when you have a really foggy day. So that practice of learning to trust your gut is going to be kind of like faith. So you're going out on a limb and you're not sure if you should trust yourself or not. This comes from being gaslit, from being made to think that you're crazy, that the things that you think are wrong. And so we tend to gaslight ourselves. We take over the role of our abuser and we gaslight ourselves. And we tend to question if what we're thinking is right or if it's wrong. So you would have to understand that it's going to take a while to learn to be able to trust your gut. But the stronger sense of self you have, the easier it becomes. And finally, number 7, there is nothing wrong with you. You may be feeling the effects of the complex post-traumatic stress disorder, the negative inner critic, the people-pleasing, the self-abandoning, the social anxiety, the emotional flashbacks, feeling as if somebody is triggering you into a different emotional state where you don't feel safe, not being able to trust people, questioning everything that they do, the hypervigilance that comes along with it. There is still nothing wrong with you. When you were younger, you told yourself a story as to why these things were going on around you. You told yourself stories as to why you were getting the silent treatment, why you were alone, that you weren't good enough, that you weren't needed, you weren't wanted, that there was something internally wrong with you and other people had all the answers and you just were behind. You didn't know the answers and you just weren't good enough. None of this was true. It has caused you to believe there's something wrong with you, and there is nothing wrong with you. I think that was the hardest part of my journey, was really having someone convince me that there was nothing wrong with me. And it was monumental, because once you learn that there is nothing wrong with you, there are no limitations on your life. You almost feel like you're playing catch up, like I can literally do anything. And I want you to be at that place. I want you to feel the peace. I want you to feel the freedom of not having those compulsive, ruminating thoughts. I want you to stop blaming yourself for the things that people have done to you. And I want you to truly believe that there is nothing wrong with you. From there, have a strong sense of self and very strong boundaries. I promise you, at the other side of this healing journey that you are not going to put a timeline on, there is peace. And I'm really excited to hear about your journey and how you get there. So just leave me a comment below. Let me know what helped you in this video, what else you want to see, and I truly wish you the best. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't be shy, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And as always, I wish you all the love in the world.